I'm so excited to be interviewed, and I was so excited about warm showers because this was the first time I really tried it, and I was kind of like apprehensive because, like, you are in strangers' homes. Like I told my sister I was doing this, and she's like, "You can't just go stay in somebody's house," and I'm like, "Yeah, I let people stay here all the time. I have a warm showers room, and so I know what it's like for me to host other people, and so I was just assuming the same." And I'm not saying that it's like 5-star accommodations everywhere. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's 5-star hospitality because they are welcoming you into their home, whether their home is palatial or whether it's very Spartan. Okay, so one guy, he had this like fishing cabin. It was down by the lake, and he's like, you can stay there if you want to. And being a woman, and I'm looking at the house several feet away, thinking when I get up to go to the bathroom, I don't know if I'm going to find the house in the dark. So I'd rather stay inside next to the bathroom. But that's just me. But all of these people, they were so gracious in sharing whatever they had, and it's not like it's like the Ritz or anything like that. But what it is just their their warmth, And this man, he had biked from north of Montreal down to Jacksonville, Florida, with his 10-year-old son. Now, can you imagine that? Yeah. And then you think, oh, well, I got to have all the gear and stuff. He said, I rode such a bad bike and had been through so much by then, I just left it there. I'm like, I mean, see, like I can't imagine because like my bike is like my bike and I take it with me everywhere. So like I told you, I came to Manhattan to visit my daughter, and she lives like near 190th, okay? Near Dykeman. So she's in a fifth floor walk up, and I had to carry my bike up 5 flights of stairs. So every day, because you can't leave it outside. But I rode that bike everywhere. I flew into LaGuardia, rode from there, rode all around Manhattan for like a week. I went to a bike show at the Meadowlands in Secaucus, New Jersey. Rode my bike. Yeah, rode my bike there. Rode it back. Um, Met a friend who had a sister that lived near 30th and Chelsea, and she hadn't ridden her bike in New York since she moved there. And I said, "We're going to ride that bike," and I took her across the Brooklyn Bridge. And she's like, "Wow, I didn't think I could do that." And I'm like, "It is no problem." So, but I do teach a bike course, and so I know how to do that. But some people don't. So, I just got back from a trip riding to Montreal from Vermont, and one Warm Showers host, he made us a full dinner of it was Lebanese food, and he cooked a chicken on the barbecue, and he made baba ganoush, hummus, tabbouleh, and some other thing that was it was all delicious and it was all fresh. It was like he was a chef or something. And that was just great. And we'd been riding all day, and it'd been a long day, and we didn't have any food and didn't know where to go eat. But he invited us for dinner, and it was great. The second time was when we were in Mont-Tremblant, Canada, in Quebec, and I was going to do part of the rail trail that we were on, the Le Petit Train du Nord, and it just all of a sudden started pouring down rain. And because of time, we didn't have time to do the entire thing. So we were planning to ride to the next town or shuttle stop, and then we're going to take a shuttle down. Well, because it was pouring down rain, we were like, yeah, we don't want to ride 30 miles in this. And so, we were trying to reschedule the shuttle and decide what we're going to do. We still hadn't even packed up our tent because we were camping in the yard. So the tent was soaking wet. Our stuff was dry because we got that out, but the tent was soaking wet. But the Warm Showers host came up with the idea. She's like, I have a bike rack on the car, and I'll just take you, 20 miles up, and then you can just ride back. And so, it's kind of like a half a compromise of let's just ride, some of it, not all of it. And the weather is so iffy and unpredictable anyway. So, about about 10 or 15 minutes after we decided to do that, because we were going to have to leave immediately in the pouring down rain to make our shuttle stop, because they were going to be there at a certain time and we had to ride 30 miles to get there. So we wouldn't have been able to do that. So she came up with the idea and she offered to take us 15 miles north so we could ride more of this rail trail. She knew that I wanted to do this, and it was just so kind and gracious of her. It was during her work day and she was working from home while she was hosting us. And I so appreciated that, because I didn't know when I was going to get back to Quebec to do this bike ride. And only another cyclist would understand, what we wanted to do on that ride. And it was just so nice of her to offer to do that. And she just plucked up the bikes. We helped her put them on the rack and we went up the trail, and the weather cleared up and it was great. So we had a great day. Warm Showers has impacted my cycling experience by inspiring me to take some of these bike trips that I've always dreamed of. I've had the pleasure of hosting many people as a coming through Charlotte on their trips, and they've told me about traveling by themselves, traveling to other places. They've traveled all over the world, and so with that, I've been encouraged and inspired to take my own trip. And this past summer, I took my first multi-day self-supported trip with my boyfriend, and we had a great time using warm showers. I host on Warm Showers because I want to encourage people to travel by bike and ride their bikes every day. I dream of a world where people are riding their bikes every day, everywhere, and even for travel. And so I want to fill the world with bikes, and I hope that I encourage and inspire other people to do that by being a host on Warm Showers. The thing that I look forward to the most about hosting Warm Showers guests is just hearing about where they've traveled to, what their bike ride is like. Obviously, I like to see their bike. I'm a bike person, so help to make sure that their bike is operational and if they need anything. The first guy I hosted, he said the last time he put on a cassette was in Spain. I'm like, when was that? So like he'd been traveling for like a year. And so I tried to take him to the bike shop and get him some new bike parts. I can't remember if I bought him a chain or not. But anyway, we did kind of do some maintenance on it. And then he wanted to taste or experience some Southern food because I live in the Southeast and I'm from Augusta, Georgia. So I made him okra and I made him grits and I made him biscuits, and he taught me how to make crepes. So it's just meeting other people and connecting with other people in such a great way over cycling. It's kind of like we're all part of the same family. The reason I joined Warm Showers is because my friend was first a host, and she was hosting someone. His name was Alan. He was from Canada. He had like a little ukulele on the back of his bike. I hosted him for lunch because she told me that he was traveling. And so he came over for lunch. He was telling me all about his travels. And I'm like, wow, if he can do this, then I can do this. And so it's very inspiring to meet these people and to think about what you can do yourself, because I don't think of myself as athletic. I just like to ride the bike, but I see these other people and then I think I don't have the equipment, but I see the other people and their equipment. I'm like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it, because it's nothing special. I mean, the special thing is the motivation and the confidence in yourself that that you're going to be able to do this, and that's what they all have. And it's just a gift and a joy to meet these people. I had a guest, and she was telling me about her favorite bike trip that she had, and it was riding to Montreal along Lake Champlain. And so I had the idea that I've always wanted to ride to Montreal, and so I had this plan already, and because she'd already done it. And so basically I recreated her trip going up Lake Champlain, and we drove to Brandon, Vermont, parked the car, and then over several days we rode to Montreal, and then we also got to do the Le Petit Train du Nord trail, which I had seen several years ago, and I'd always wanted to do that, and it was just right outside of Montreal. So I combined both of those trips into one, and it was only through the encouragement and seeing someone else had already done it, and she was a single woman traveling on a Brompton bike with a chubby trailer. And it was a joy to meet her. And so, with her encouragement and inspiration, I was able to do my own trip. The tips I would give to people using warm showers as either a host or a guest is just to be open and inviting and respectful. Some people may be hesitant to be a host because they think, I don't have much to offer. I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable with strangers or people in my house or my yard or whatever. You don't understand when people are warm showers guests. The only thing that I really want is a place to set up my tent. I would like to use the bathroom. That would be a nice thing. And I would also like a warm shower, as the name implies. Beyond that, everything else is gravy. You don't have to do anything else. After I've been riding a long day, maybe 30, 50 miles, that's really all that I want and expect. And people are so grateful for the little things that you can offer them. Whether it's offering them to do a load of clothes, just to wash and dry their clothes because they've been traveling for a while, or maybe lube their chain, maybe some ice in the water when it's hot, or a hot drink if it's cold, or whatever it is. But anything like that, during COVID when there were vaccination restrictions and everything else, I hosted, but I did not want people in my house. And so I let people camp in the backyard, and they were totally fine with that. They had a spigot outside where they showered, and the garage was open to them, which had power in there. I offered them a hot plate in there, and there was a cooler, and the grocery store was only a mile and a half away. So they were totally content. And with that situation during that time. And if it were me, I would be totally content with that as well, just to have a place to stay along the way. And it's only for like a night at a time. And so I would just encourage you to give it a try. You don't have to accept anybody. You don't have to approve any request. But if you want to, you can. And I would just just encourage you to try it to see what it's like. The advice I would give to someone considering joining warm showers is just offer yourself as a host. Look carefully at each person who requests to stay. Don't be disappointed if there's no request for a long time. I'm always excited when I get a request, and sometimes I forget to thoroughly look at all of the reviews and everything. But you have the opportunity to look at all of the reviews, and you do not have to accept any request. Just know that it's a community, and we all try to support each other and encourage each other. But I can't tell you what a joy it has been to use this platform to not only host, but to be hosted as well. It added a whole level of experience to my bike ride. The bike ride was great, but meeting the host and being hosted was just another dimension that you cannot imagine. It's like family from a different mother or something like that, because we're all united in this love of cycling. I keep tools in a bike stand to maintain my own bike, and I also have a bike library in case people need to borrow a bike and work on their own bike for whatever reason, or take it to the bike shop to get a repair. For me, I have it because I like to keep my bike running at all times because it is my primary and preferred mode of transportation. So I have all the basic tools that you would need, a bike stand, a pump, patch kits, tire levers. I have parts in my parts bin for my bike in case anything ever breaks, including brake cables, derailleur cables, cable cutters, that sort of thing, tubes. So I have all of that in case anybody needs anything. And most people are pretty well prepared. They don't really need anything, but you just never know. The most important qualities of a Warm Showers host is just to be responsive to your request, provide the address. I did show up at the wrong address one time. You know, the address was in French, and I don't speak French, and I went to the right street number, but not to the right street. So just to be responsive, and just to be open, and welcoming. Everybody has been that way. So I don't really see any issue, but you just have to be supportive of these people in their biking dreams because that's what they're doing. There's been so many memorable experiences through Warm Showers, both as a host and a guest. The host, it has to be the people welcoming us into their homes and cooking us food and having a meal with them. I know one time the host had just received another request from two French girls, and he said, "Would you mind if we hosted them as well?" I'm like, "No, this is your house. I would love to meet them." And it was such a pleasure to meet them, as it always is to meet any bike tourist. I love to meet them just when I see them riding around. So imagine being in a host situation or being hosted where I meet other people. And that's also happened another time when we were in Newport News and another person was being hosted at the same time. And he had just finished his cross country tour. He was from the UK, and so I love to hear about everyone's travels. So Warm Showers has helped me expand my travel capabilities because, before I'm just not really an athletic person. I was just riding around town all the time, and then it's kind of baby steps for me. So I've done a sub 24-hour overnight, which is in town like 15, 20 miles away, and then I met all these Warm Showers people, and they're traveling all over the world, and so I've kind of worked up to it. I did a a fully supported tour for like 7 days, and then I did a self-supported tour for like 3 days. And so, after meeting all of these other Warm Showers guests, then I was encouraged to try a 10-day trip on my own that's fully self-supported. But I used Warm Showers a lot, so that was really my big support system there, because each and every one of those hosts was so encouraging and so supportive. And it just, I was excited to get up and go the next day to meet the next host and find the next place. It's kind of like a treasure hunt for me, just following this route that I've made for myself.